Good Sunday morning.
Good morning. Had a cough. We've definitely got some smoky weather out there.
Yep. House is not too bad. Managed to jerry-rig a temporary... What are you doing? Get out of the window. Sheesh.
Leave it alone.
I've never seen her do that before.
Oh, well.
So, there you go.
Well, welcome to our Sunday
Hi.
morning. That was a wake-up call, I suppose.
Do. We're still waiting for somebody to sign in. Nobody's signed in yet. Do.
Just get on with it.
Oh, there we go. May.
People will pick this up later. And then watch it from the beginning.
Yep.
So.
And Nancy. Hello.
Hello. Good morning.
Hello, doody.
There's others here. So.
Yep, and Mary, little guy.
Good morning.
So, speaking of Mary, and that's a great prompt because we were going to say something anyway. So she knew we were going to do that. That's why she signed in right when she did. No, I was wondering if you were going to though. We have a change in the church. As most of you know, we have had a church cat, from the very, 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 very start. First there was Merlin, and he got old and passed, and then Toby adopted us, and actually it was kind of the same time. We had two cats for a little while. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And long story short, and now Toby has moved on to her new permanent home.
She is retiring from being a church cat.
She is.
She had her own little kitty ministry. Mm-hmm. So whether you liked cats or not,
people visited her every day.
Yes, whether you liked cats or not, she would find the person that needed attention and she would go sit on them. So, but she was very, very loving, very tender. She served us for 16 years plus. Wow. So 16 and a half, I think. And during that time, Mary Loga headed up the Toby duty staff. There was a whole herd of people. Someone came in every day to pay attention to her and feed her and check in on her. And when we had classes and all sorts of things going on, then she had plenty of attention because there was something going on pretty much every day.
Yep. Yeah.
But with the shutdown, then she went to go stay with Mary Lilga for a while. It was just supposed to be a few weeks. And ended up 6 months later. And Mary is facing some knee replacement surgery, and then right after that, an ankle replacement surgery. So her world is kind of turned upside down, and she has her own other kitties. So Sharon Steele has volunteered and is taking Toby home. So she'll have her own home, and I'm trying not to cry.
And she will be loved every instant of every day.
Yes, she will.
Have a permanent bed to lay in with Sharon, and so yeah, it'll be nice for her.
So the church is a little emptier without Toby.
Yeah.
She had big energy. There were times I would go to turn off the alarm, and it would show the motion sensor. There was something in the hall, and I'd look, and it was just Toby. And the alarm system is set for
an adult
or larger creature in there. So it wasn't supposed to register at all. And then she'd walk away or go into the hallway, and then it would say all clear. So she had big energy. So we will miss that big energy.
We will. So on we go.
So Beth is going to post a picture of Toby for us. So that's our baby.
Yeah. I saw a couple of names in there I hadn't seen before. So welcome. Actually, I've done t-shirts and sweatshirts for a long time at church, and I haven't done any because I really haven't had much. And Mary was nice enough to give me some different ones. So yes, these are t-shirts or sweatshirts that you might want to purchase, or you might want to just not.
Roll your eyes at.
Yeah. Okay, here's one. I thought growing old would take longer.
Yeah, I can relate to that one.
And this one's got a Sasquatch, Bigfoot walking across, and says, "Hide and seek champion."
Yeah, for sure.
Accidentally went grocery shopping on an empty stomach.
Oh, no.
And now I'm the proud owner of aisle 6. And this one has a gas gauge, empty and full, and it's on E right now for patience. Oops.
That would mean stand back, watch out.
Yep, and the final one today is real women watch football. There you go.
They do? I guess not.
We do have a couple. We have a couple of patron saints by the name of George Carlin and John Lennon. And John said, "Our society is run by insane people for insane objectives. I think we're being run by maniacs for maniacal ends, and I think I'm liable to be put away as insane for expressing that. That's how insane it is."
Who said that?
John Lennon.
John, that sounds like something George would say.
Well, that's probably true. And this was like a long time ago. This was probably 40 years ago, 50 years ago that he said that. So, things don't change. And George, by and large, language is a tool for concealing the truth. Yeah. And things that make you go,
He makes me go,
I know.
See, there's a picture of Toby. She posted
There's
it.
Toby. Hi, Toby. Learning music by reading about it is like making love by mail.
Say that again. I got lost.
Learning music by reading about it is like making love by mail. My best criticism...
Your best criticism.
My best creation is my children.
Oh.
Ooh, that was a slip, wasn't it? I have learned to use the word impossible with great caution.
Oh, yes.
Werner von Braun. If you don't know who he is, he's pretty much the grandfather of modern day rocketry. I don't know how else you would say that. But yeah, quite a guy.
So it is rocket science.
So it kind of is rocket science. Yep. Okay. There is no recorded date of Christ's birth. Christmas became an official church holiday in AD 320. Pope Julius I chose December 31st in an effort to absorb...
25th.
25th.
December 31st.
Who knows? Isn't that weird that we do say things we don't even recognize we say? December 25th in an effort to absorb the customs of the pagan festival Saturnalia, an extended hedonistic holiday marking the winter solstice, during which the normal Roman social order was turned upside down. So,
Yes, they assumed it was more spring because the shepherds were out on the fields.
yeah, and nobody
With their
knows.
sheep.
Nobody knows for sure. Not really. Love will blossom anywhere as long as someone's there to care. Yeah. A friend is the
Does that make me a blooming idiot?
You expect me to answer that? Honey, if that's what you believe, then we're good with it. So.
Okay.
A friend is the present you give yourself. When we smile, the world seems brighter. When we smile, our cares grow lighter.
True.
It is true. It really is true. I mean, it really, really is true.
We can shift our whole energetic structure and the whole subconscious with a smile.
Oh yeah.
It changes our endocrine endorphins.
Yep.
Make a sentence out of it.
I wondered why the baseball was getting bigger. Then it hit me. Police were called to a daycare where a 3-year-old was resisting arrest. Did you hear about the guy whose left side was cut off? He's all right now.
I'm going to cut you off for a minute.
I know. The roundest night at the King Arthur's table was circumference. Of course it was. Do cemetery workers prefer the graveyard shift?
Isn't it all the graveyard?
How come when you're driving through a neighborhood looking for an address, you turn the radio down?
Because you can see better when your hearing is not impaired,
Okay.
distracted. They work together.
Okay. How do the Skittle Company people know what a rainbow tastes like? How do you tell when you run out of invisible ink? These are important things. Okay. Biblical cars. I'm going to end with this. Yay! Biblical cars. WWJD. Most people assume WWJD stands for What Would Jesus Do? No, but the initials really stand for What Would Jesus Drive?
Oh,
Of course.
probably a VW, right?
I don't know. Hard to say. One theory is that Jesus would tool around in an old Plymouth because the Bible says God drove Adam and Eve out of the Garden of Eden in a fury.
That's not what it says, but that's okay.
But in Psalms 83, the Almighty clearly owns a Pontiac and a Geo. The passage urges the Lord to pursue your enemies with you, tempest, and terrify them with your storm. I know it's a stretch. Perhaps God's Dodge pickup truck, because Moses' followers are warned not to go up the mountain until the ram's horn sounds a long blast. Some scholars, I know these are cars and vehicles. If you didn't know, that's what they really are. Some scholars insisted that Jesus drove a Honda, but don't like to talk about it. As proof, they cite a verse in St. John's Gospel where Christ tells the crowd, "For I did not speak of my own accord." Meanwhile, Moses rode an Old English motorcycle, as evidenced by a Bible passage declaring that the roar of Moses' triumph is heard in the hills. I can't talk this morning. I just talk about a Triumph motorcycle. Joshua drove a Triumph sports car with a hole in the muffler. Joshua's triumph was heard throughout the land.
I think we've got somebody who has one of those that drives up and down our street.
Yeah, I know we do. And following the master's lead, the apostles carpooled in a Honda. Apostles were in one accord. I know. Thank you very much.
I have no words for it.
You know, like I said, the one thing I really, really miss is I'm going to get a groan tract or a laugh tract. At least I can, have
I'm not
groans the whole
groaning
time.
enough for you.
Probably not. The dog just doesn't care as long as we feed her.
You
She's
can't
fine,
hear my
so.
eyes roll.
No. So.
I'll be more.
Hey, Susan. Vaughn. I don't know Vaughn. Hi, Vaughn.
Okay,
Must
I
be
can't
new.
see any of that.
That's
So.
he said they say he's watching. So
Okay.
Vaughn's watching.
So again, before we depart here and move into the next section, thank you again, Mary Lilga, for your faithful years of service and dedication to our Toby cat. And thank you, Toby caregivers, for your years of dedication and service.
Probably, a lot of our people that just devote so much time to the church are just unsung heroes. And I mean, Toby folks were certainly one of those groups.
Yes.
But we still have over 50 prayer warriors. Prayer watchers.
Does that help?
I don't know.
Give smack. Maybe that'll help.
Ooh, yeah. Okay, anyway, so, am I out of here?
Unless I can think of something else real fast. You better move while
I
you
better
can.
move while I can. Take the phone.
Excuse me. Smoke. I haven't coughed in a long time. I think our thing is slipping because I can see the lights again. I'm going to move this just a tad to see if we can't get that out of your field of vision. Because that's a little distracting. I guess I can't. We have this jerry-rigged so that there's this stack of books and a little notepad and try to get it all in the right way for you. So anyway, I'm struggling a little bit with the cough thing. If my voice fades, please text Phill and let him know. He will send me he will call me on the house phone and remind me to gear up my voice. So maybe, Phill, if you could bring me just a little bit of water or coffee or something, that would be great. So what I want to talk to you about today, you're not going to like. But it's really an important thing to talk about. And I say you're not going to like it because it's challenging. And it's not a pleasant subject, but I guarantee you at the end of the day, after we've concluded this, you're going to really be grateful. So hang in there, and even if there's things that feel uncomfortable for you, just be with it for just a bit because it'll get easier and get better. So what I want to talk to you about today, thank you. Oh,
Yes, that's really water.
It's water.
Yeah,
water.
it's just water. Wink, wink, nod, nod.
It's water. Thank you, my beloved. So what I want to talk to you about today is raging anger or burning anger. As you know, there's a lot of forest fires around this whole western half of the United States. And sometimes what's happening physically is a reflection for us to take a look at what's happening internally. And just the words that we use about fires, raging fire, that's smoldering embers. Those are things that we can talk about, or we actually transfer to our own emotions sometimes. So I want to look at those without re-injuring ourselves by trauma. I want us to work through some stuff and clear that out, because it's a really important thing to do. As we clear ourselves, then our world around us can clear as well. So this could have some physical impact in our world. Let me give you a story. Let me start with a story to give you an example of what I'm talking about. Years ago, I used to be administrative assistant, and it was like a whole nother world ago. And we were having a potluck, so I was at work and fixed something up, and Phill was going to bring it. Well, Phill brought it, but what he did is he put the two things together, and they weren't meant to be together. It didn't taste bad, it didn't turn out bad, but this really triggered an old hurt for me. There was somebody else in my past that would do that, but do it intentionally, and then for church potluck, and then the ladies at church would mock me for being a bad cook, which is a whole other story, which I'll get to here in a minute. So, pardon the throat. So, I threw a fit, and it was not horrible on a screaming thing or anything. I just was like, "Why did you do that?" And he put both hands on my shoulders, looked me straight in the eye, and he said, "Honey, this is not my stuff." Took his hands off my shoulders and walked away. What a beautiful gift he gave me in that, because it was inadvertent on his part. He was just doing what he thought I was expecting of him to do. It was a kindness on his part, but I was furious. I was raging inside about that. And it gave me a chance to take a look, bring into my awareness that old pain in a new way. It was the most incredible moment in my life. Well, not the most, but one of the big moments in my life. Because as I brought it into my awareness, I could see that even though it was intentional by the other person, it was their acting out their pain. And the mocking and laughter that came after that had nothing to do with me. It was them acting out their pain. And when I recognized that, then all of a sudden, all of these other things all the other times that someone had hurt my feelings in that way that challenged my worth, were like dominoes that had stacked up, and it was like tink, and they all went blink, 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 and I was clear. I was clear of that. It was the most beautiful thing, and it happened in a moment, in just an instant. And I didn't have to relive the pain. I didn't have to experience and agonize over it. It just cleared. How beautiful is that? So I want to look today at our old pain. Let's look at it, bring it into our awareness. I'm going to have a process here for you to do that will help you look at it, process it, and not only process an old pain, but process all of the linking pains that may have dominoed effect up, and you can just tink and then wipe them all out. Remember the domino setups, and they go on and on and on, and all this intricate patterns? We have them energetically, and we have them emotionally in us that have been set up by us as a reaction or response to things that trigger our anger. Now, there's 3 different kinds of anger, and we're going to talk about this one in specific. But let me tell you about the different kinds of anger. But I want to start with this Bible verse. I've read it to you before. It's one of my favorites because it's powerful stuff. And it really fits in with what we're going to talk about. Verse 26 of Ephesians chapter 4. Be angry and yet do not sin. Do not let the sun go down in your anger. So the sin part is harboring it, hanging on to it. Now this aspect of anger is that anger is here as a key. It tells you, hey, I'm not okay with this. This is not okay. You've breached a boundary. You're stepping on my boundaries here. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing, because then you get to see, is my boundary safe? Is my boundary secure? Is my boundary appropriate? Am I just getting triggered by about all these other traumas that are back there? Or is it an actual real boundary that is important for me to maintain? And is it clear? Is my boundary clear enough so people don't step on it? If my boundary is clear, people don't even approach that. So this gives me a chance to look. Did somebody intentionally step across that? Did they accidentally step across that? Or have I got a boundary that is unsafe or unclear or inappropriate? I get to look at that. So that's one aspect of anger. So anger is not a bad thing. Now in the household I grew up in, grown-ups were allowed to be angry. Kids were not. So for me to read, be angry but don't sin, that was such a blessing to me. I get to be angry. That gets to piss me off. I get to be angry. But I don't get to be hurtful or hateful about it. But I get to look at it because it's telling me, notice here. Either that person is unsafe or my boundaries are not safe enough for me. And I need to take a look at that. I get to take a look at that and I get to make some adjustments. Make sense? So to have the ability to be angry or to give myself permission to be angry, that was huge. And what a blessing. What a blessing. But I also was able to look at the fact that it's also really important to get clear of it. Hanging on to it is not healthy, nor is it spiritually healthy. Neither physically nor spiritually healthy. So letting it go, crossing beyond it, moving into a place of peace. And there's some actions that we can take for that. So let me read a little bit further. It says, do not give the devil an opportunity. So we don't hang on to stuff because that's festering, smoldering stuff is where that opportunity to be hurtful and harmful to someone else exists. So if we can get those dominoes out of there, then we're less likely to vent on somebody else. Because here's what happens. What happens is when people are in pain or people are broken or damaged, they take it and take it and take it and take it, and then they get to the point where they can't take it anymore, and then they download it to somebody else. And if you're in a situation where you're picking at each other, and then you got to respond to that. I'm not going to let them get away with that crap, right? And then they got to go, and then, what happens is eventually this person folds, and this person downloads anger onto the other one. If you've been a recipient of that anger, you know what I'm talking about. It's not fun. And we get to clear that. Why would we carry somebody else's anger? And why would we respond to somebody else in anger, ramping them up higher? We don't need to. There's another option, a more powerful option, a more beautiful option that I get to share with you today. So, read a little bit more here. And how you do that is you switch it, you change it, you replace it. And here's more of this. Let him who steals steal no longer. That means if you're a thief, stop. Just stop. But rather, let him labor. Just work. Earn your money honestly. Performing with your own hands what is good, doing worthy work, in order that he may have something to share with him who has a need. If you're in this state of being willing to share, you're not trying to take, right? It's really hard to want to take when you're in this state of mind of being worthy of sharing what you have, what you know, what you're experiencing, whether it's financial or whether it's your wisdom or your kindness, whatever. There's more to be said about that. Let no unwholesome word proceed from your mouth. Anything that tears someone down is unwholesome. This tone of disdain that we hear all the time is unwholesome. It doesn't build anybody up. It's just hurtful. And we're carrying around a lot of that. It's time for us to release a lot of that. You ready for that? I am. But only a word that is good for edification. Edification is building up. If we're not building up, then shut up. If we're not building up, then shut up. Got it? According to the need in the moment. Times change. Everything changes. Our responses get to be different in each moment. We get to decide in each moment and not as a reaction. When we're carrying around that old pain, what are we going to do? We're going to spew pain. It's just the nature of it. And then we're going to be sorry because we didn't really mean to hurt that person's feelings. Clear out the old pain and that won't spew out because you're not harboring this old hurt in here. More to be said. That it may give grace to those who hear. If we're building up, it's such a blessing. It gives grace. That's what we're all about, is it not? Do not grieve the Holy Spirit of God, by whom you were sealed for the day of redemption. We are chosen. We're blessed. We're sacred. It's unbecoming of sacredness to spew venom. And we don't mean to. It's just up here and then out it comes without us being able to hold it back. Because we can't. It's not humanly possible to do that anymore. Last two verses. Get ready for this. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and slander be put away from you, along with all malice. Put it away from you. So we can clear that. We can put that away from us. And it may not even be our stuff. It may have been somebody else's download that we're just carrying around because we don't know what else to do with it. We'll clear that out. And be kind to one another. Tender-hearted. Forgiving each other. Just as God in Christ has forgiven you. Now, with that said, there are some things in this world that are unforgivable. But that doesn't mean we have to carry the baggage of it, the anger of it, or the angst of it any further. We can release it. Like the good book says, don't let the sun go down on your anger. We can release it so when we lay our head to rest, we can really rest. It's not there to disrupt us any further. It's not in our energetic structure. It's not in our heart. It's not in our emotions. It's not in our mind. All right? So this raging, burning anger may not even be our own, especially if the anger is here because of some trauma you received. Highly likely that you were someone downloaded their angst, anger, and frustration on you. When you have a disagreement with someone or when somebody is spun up, it's imperative to take a look at it from your third eye. Not from your guts or your internal judgment of it. They're bad, they're mean, they're horrible, terrible people. They may be doing terrible, horrible things. I'm not saying that's not true. What I'm saying is if we can look at it from a different perspective, dominoes fall. And this is all about clearing all those dominoes. We want those dominoes gone. Not just down, but gone. And not active ever again. I was talking to someone the other day, and someone had spoken to them, and she knew in her mind that they were coming from a place of kindness, and the tone of their voice was kind, but she got triggered, and she could feel the fury building up inside. Have you ever experienced that? Chances are it's not even yours. Chances are it's been downloaded to you. And if it is yours, let's look at it with a new perspective and let the dominoes fall away, shall we? So let's take something that, that we experience anger about. Now, when I was preparing this for you, I ran through several scenarios that I thought we could use. And each time I felt this huge relief. I didn't even know I was carrying stuff. And here's the thing. It changes in the moment. So what's upset you right now may not upset you 10 minutes from now. So you can't be on guard for this. This is not something you can gear up for, shield for. And even if you could, that takes a ton of energy. Who wants to spend that kind of energy about that? In the past this last year, I did a blog called This Last Year. It's not a very long little blog, but it's just a little blog, and I don't even know that I was writing about anything specific for myself. But I wrote it about those traumas, those moments when people trigger us and giving us a breather so we can break free from it. So if you get a chance to read that, I think Beth is going to post a link here in a minute. This last year. We don't have to let ourselves be traumatized by events that may or may not have impact on us intentionally. We don't have to be triggered. If we can take the trigger off the gun, it can't fire again. So this is what we're talking about. This is bringing that awareness, that third eye awareness, into this situation. So I want you to ponder something, and you may not even know what it is. Do you have a sense of frustration? Oh my gosh, there's so many things to be frustrated about, right? Just being indoors for several days because it's so smoky outside, that can get really frustrating, especially if you're a person that loves to be outside. So bring that into your third eye, that awareness into your third eye. I'm not asking you to anguish over it. I'm not asking you to overanalyze that. I'm asking you just to put it here. Look at it with your third eye. Open this eye and look at it differently. Look at this experience of being frustrated. Just see it. Don't judge it. Don't be angry about it. Just notice it. There's power in this noticing. Now, let's use our middle finger because this is the finger having to do with anger. Believe it or not, it has to do with your liver, gallbladder, where a lot of anger is stored and generated. And we also know what this finger does. So we're going to use that. So tap your third eye. And now tap your throat. And what's your truth about this? Now, your truth may be they're mean or this is not right. It shouldn't be this way. Truth is, there's nothing you could say or do to change this. Right? That's truth. So by tapping your throat chakra, you're embedding yourself, you're activating truth. And truth is neutral. Truth is neutral. Now from truth, when we have that stable truth foundation, from that, we can receive peace and joy and compassion and jubilance and all of that sort of thing. But peace itself or truth itself is neutral. It's neither right, wrong, good, or bad. It just is. There's nothing I could have said or done. It just is. It just is. It's smoky. That's the truth. Now bring it into your heart space. Third finger tap in your heart space. Hard to catch my breath. I choke a little bit, cough a bit. My voice is a little scratchy. So I'm just going to tap into my heart and I'm going to send this energy of loving compassion to all the places that are burning. It's not about me. It's not an intentional effect of me. It's just that's how it is right now. Now touch your solar plexus chakra. Just tap that. And honor your frustration. honor it. Oh, there's things I wanted to do outside. Outside is such a blessing to me. Outside is sanctuary to me. Outside restores my soul. And I can honor the fact that I don't get to do that right now. And now bring that back up to your heart space. More compassion to myself. Throat chakra. I can be okay with this. Third eye. I can be blessed by being indoors and taking sanctuary indoors in a new way. Frustration falls away, doesn't it? How beautiful is that? Now take something that you have an anger about. And maybe this is an old anger. They said something hurt my feelings. I felt really betrayed about that. Okay? Let's look at that. So look at that situation. Don't relive it. Don't relive it. Just have an icon of that situation. Some snippet that reminds you of that situation but doesn't take you into that situation. So if, like, for example, a betrayal, I can recall that situation, so I can remember the room where that happened, where I became aware of that betrayal. So I'm just notice the room. Bring that room into my third eye and just notice it. Notice that that room didn't hurt me. It's not about the room, but that's where that happened, and it was really traumatic. It hurt a lot. So I can just notice it. By noticing it now with this third eye, I'm not noticing it with judgment. They shouldn't have done that. It makes me so furious because they did that. That was wrong. I don't have to judge it right or wrong, good or bad. It just, this is where that happened. Okay? Now bring it into your throat chakra. There was nothing I could have said that would have changed that. Because that's what that person was all about. It was just a matter of time. I didn't see it because I didn't want to see it. But they had done that to other people. And you know, I trusted, and I'm so glad I did. I'm so glad I had that friendship, that relationship for as long as I did. And that's my truth about that. And I'm just going to be with that truth of it. There wasn't anything I could have said that would have changed. Nothing I could have said. Now bring it into my heart space. And I can notice that that other person is broken. Had nothing to do with me. Had nothing to do with me. It was their brokenness. And they had to. It was their brokenness was driving them to do that. And I can just hold that in compassion in my heart space. And now my solar plexus. Just tapping my solar plexus. Funny, when I was doing this about some other things, belch, some real clearing. My tummy hurt all of a sudden, and then it cleared. I had no idea. But my body was holding on to a lot of this old, smoldering anger stuff. So now bringing this into my solar plexus chakra. Solar plexus chakra is our self-esteem, is our courage, is our uniqueness, our individuation. I am unique. So I am unique. And not everybody gets me. And not everybody can handle me. And I get to be okay with that. Because I'm going to honor who I am. And I'm going to notice who I am and honor that. Even though I felt dishonored with this other thing, I can honor me. I don't need their approval. I don't need that. Because I'm okay. I'm bringing it into my heart space. Tap it again. And this time now I'm noticing that I can honor myself, honor my own journey. And in some ways, it freed me up. So I can be very grateful. And I can view that other person with kindness and compassion. I don't set myself up for that happening again, but I don't have to hurt about it anymore. Throat chakra. My truth. What's my truth here? My truth is, she did what she could, I did what I could, and we parted company. Bring it back to my third eye, and now how do I see that? I see that peacefully. I see that resolved. I see that healed. And all the other times in my life where I felt betrayed, fall away. Because things are going to happen here and now that are connected, or we're going to bring up for you stuff that happened in the past. Because it's time to clear that. You can't be the person you're meant to be hanging on to that. Doesn't mean that you're just la la la, it didn't happen. No. But you're bringing a new level of awareness into this. I want to read to you what the ancient ones had to say the other day. Beth Clark posted this for us. The new you is expansive. When we clear this stuff, we have a new expansive awareness, even more than before. The new you is loving with clear, safe boundaries. The new you is blessed and is a blessing. The new you is here. Welcome the new you now. The new you holds an amazing future before you. We await you there. The ancient ones. Isn't that beautiful? We don't have to be stuck and burdened by someone else's trauma. And this is current and now stuff. So if somebody gripes at you or snarks at you about something, you can look at that and say, oh, in your mind's eye, you don't say that loud. That person is expressing their brokenness. Has nothing to do with me. It only has to do with me if I own it. Oh, yes, I'm broken and I'm a bad person, so you get to yell at me. No. I don't get to own that at all. It's not about me. Now, if I'm doing something that's inappropriate, I get to take a look at that, and I get to shift my attitude and my actions. But if somebody's snarking at me just because they're being snarky, I get to look at that and not take it on. It's not about me. It's about their brokenness. And I can look at their brokenness with my third eye. Not my emotions, not my judgment, my third eye. And then, when I'm looking at that with my third eye, then my truth is there's nothing I can say or do that's going to make that person's world better. Snarking at them, back at them, is not going to make my world better. That's my truth. So I'm going to have compassion for myself, and I'm going to either step out of the room or I'm just going to let them vent, whatever they need to do. I'm not their victim. I'm only a victim if I let myself be. And if they're demanding some sort of a response, it could be, not sure how to answer that. Neutral. Truth. Because maybe you haven't trained yourself, don't have clear boundaries yet, to be able to train yourself to respond when somebody is in that state of mind. And even if you did have your wise truth, they can't hear it through their brokenness. They can't hear it. So you can let it be. And you can honor yourself. And whatever that honoring for yourself looks like, maybe that honoring is to, excuse me, I need to use the restroom. Leave the room. Or, but not taking it on personally. Their brokenness is not your burden to bear. Not now, not ever, not anymore. They get to have it. And by being clear and neutral, they get to really look at their stuff. The best gift you could give them. Like Phill putting his hands on my shoulders. This is not my stuff. Gave me a chance, gave me a moment to look at it. So by not responding, snarking back or whatever, by not taking it on, not owning that, whatever they're saying, I don't have to own it. Is that my truth? You're being stupid. Well, is that my truth? No. They get to be where they are, and I get to be safe. I get to be peaceful. I get to be empowered. I get to be clear from this moment on. I don't have to react. I don't have to snark back. I don't have to be wounded. I don't have to cry. Because it's not about me. And if I'm crying or if I'm snarking back, it's because they're triggering a woundedness in me that's time to heal today. Today. Heal. Be healed. I say, be healed. It's our chance. It's our chance, our opportunity. So in that way, I can be really grateful that something has come up because it's showing me where I'm wounded. And if I can see where I'm wounded, I can see where I'm broken, I can heal. And it might take a while. But I'm better today than I was yesterday. And I'm better yesterday than I was the day before and the day before that. And again, dominoes fall. You could have an instantaneous healing. I did. If I did, you did. You can. So powerful stuff. Big stuff. Today is the day to look at yourself and look at your situations and look at the smoldering anger differently. And as we do that, that sets up a resonance in our world so that some of the fires can dissipate. So I'm going to walk you on a guided meditation now that is going to mitigate some of the fires, all right? And it will also refresh your soul. So you ready for that? Big stuff, big stuff. So let's take a second and just kind of decompress. If you have any questions about this particular process, you might want to message me personally, privately, and we can talk about it because this is big. This is big. All right. Bringing your energy into your heart space right now. This is where your compassion is. Compassion for yourself, compassion for yourself, compassion for our world. And right now, the west coast of the United States is on fire. So we're going to have our compassionate focus upon that. Are you ready for that? So in order to do that, anchoring our awareness in our heart space, notice also now taking some of your awareness into your feet. And there are energy portals in your feet that open. And as they open, energy that is no longer serving you can fall out. Just fall into the earth. It's just energy. For us, it might be anger. For us, it might be pain. For us, it might be frustration. But for the earth, it's just energy. It's not going to hurt a thing. When we let it go, Mother Earth transforms it into neutral anyway. So we can just let it go. So as our foot portals open, we're ready to release a lot of this old anger that no longer serves us. At the same time, we can draw up from the earth and put in our heart space this grounding energy, this centering energy. And as we do that, notice your ascension orb. And if you haven't activated your ascension orb yet, you can go on YouTube or Facebook here, I think has I don't know. I'll have to send you a link on the ascension orb. This ascension orb is a sphere of light that is kind of like a gyroscope, a spiritual gyroscope, and it keeps you upright. Like you can turn your phone sideways and the picture goes straight, and then you turn back and the picture goes back. That's the function of this, is whatever direction the world is pushing you, you can go back to central and neutral. And this ascension orb is underneath your diaphragm and behind your stomach and in front of your spine. So it's just this little energetic sphere of light. It doesn't take up any space in your body. It's in the ethereal realms, but it resides with you to grant you this stabilizing effect. So bringing that stabilizing earth energy into your heart space and noticing your ascension orb, this further stabilizes you. Bring your attention to your crown. And this connects you to divine source. It's always open, it's always connected. So allow yourself to notice that connection, and that connection can expand. As that connection expands, you can draw in from the higher realms, the higher source, energy that is just right for you. And you can perceive that as a color, blue, pink, yellow, red, green, orange, whatever, or as a metallic sheen to it. Maybe it's iridescent, maybe it's silver, gold, platinum, copper. Whatever you're experiencing is what is right for you and will help you heal, will help you transform and transmute this anger energy and replace it with love and light. So as that energy comes into your mind, notice any places, it will notice any places where you're harboring anger over a past situation. And when it does, it just pushes it out of the way and replaces it with love and light. And as it's pushed out of the way, it's heavy. It'll just fall out the bottoms of your feet. Now, I also want you to do a sweep of your eyes. Sweep your eyes right now. Do 3 times of sweepy, sweepy. And you're just going to pull that away. Because our eyes perceive life situations based on our past. And we're clearing that. We don't ever have to see it in that same way again. Now your third eye is activated. Tap it again. And that allows your visual sensory systems to work in harmony for new truth about you. You're not going to see your brokenness anymore. You're going to see the part of you that is healing or has been healed. Now, sweepy, sweepy, your discernment centers here at the right above your eyebrows. And then your occipital lobes. This is old patterns of perception. Clear those out. We don't have to see that old stuff anymore. If somebody's having an anger fit, it's not you. Because if somebody really loved you and you were really out of line, they would come to you in love and say, honey, this is not my stuff. Okay, so clear those perceptions. This allows you the opportunity to see and perceive things differently. Now let that living light of love touch your mouth and your ears and your throat. This gives you the opportunity to speak your truth with grace. Edification. We just read that in the good book. That if it's not building up, shut up. Give yourself permission to shut up. We think we have to respond or we're not defending ourselves. No. If it's not building up, shut up. You can do that. And allow this whole system to heal. Because, we regret when we say things that aren't kind. We felt like we had to say things that were unkind to defend ourselves. But we don't have to do that anymore. So now this whole area can be at peace. How beautiful is that? Letting more and more of this living light of love flowing down into our arms, into our hands, so that everything we do is touched with this grace. Letting more and more love and light touch our torso, down our legs, into our knees and ankles and feet, and out into the earth. So now we're a conduit of this living light of love pouring through us. And any stray angst, frustration, or anger is just pushed away. We can just let it go. And now very gently close the bottoms of your feet. And as you do, now you're a vessel of light. More and more of this living light of love is pouring into your body, pouring into the energy field that surrounds your body. It feels wonderful. And now let us take a little walk. And in this walk, we're going to start walking up a mountain trail. And in the mountain trail, just notice the trail. It's not going to be really challenging. It's just a beautiful mountain trail, beautiful day. And you're going to walk up to the highest part of this mountain effortlessly. And when you get there, there are clouds there. Nice, light, fluffy white clouds. And you're going to step off of your trail and onto a cloud. A cloud is going to support you. And you're going to instruct that cloud with your intent. You're going to instruct that cloud to take you out into the ocean. We're not going to go in the ocean. We're going to go out over the ocean. And we're going to go to where it's a little warmer so that the water from the ocean is evaporating. And you're going to instruct your cloud to absorb that moisture. you're going to gather that moisture, and your cloud gets bigger, and your cloud gets heavier. And you could draw more of that moisture in, and the cloud gets bigger, and the cloud gets heavier. And now you're going to instruct your cloud to take you back to some place where there's fire. And you have all this moisture in the cloud, and you're going to instruct that cloud to release it. Let it go. And as that cloud releases that moisture, the fire is calmed. The fire is subsided. The fire is extinguished. And that feels wonderful. And now you take your cloud again and go back out into the ocean, over the ocean, gathering more moisture, and more moisture, till your cloud is heavy, full of moisture again. And carry yourself back to a place where there's fire. And allow your cloud now, with your instruction, with your intent, tell your cloud to rain. And it rains and extinguishes fire. And you can go back and forth as many times as you would like, bringing this cosmic energy of moisture and dropping it onto the fire. And the fire is extinguished. And notice as you're doing that, as you're releasing this moisture, it's just moisture. It's just fire. And you're feeling clearer and lighter than you ever have before. Because you're being of service. What we do in our mind's eye affects the physical realm. What we do in our spiritual world affects the physical realm. And you can know that this is a deep blessing for you and for others. And now, leave the most of your cloud here and let it continue to rain. And take a piece of your cloud back to your mountaintop. Step off your cloud back onto the mountaintop. Have your heart full of gratitude for this beautiful gift that you've given. And notice as you step onto the trail after stepping off the cloud, look back at your cloud. And notice that there's a little gift for you. Maybe it's a word or a thought or a feeling. Maybe it's a symbolic object you can reach out and take. So receive that gift and know that it has symbolic energy for you. A gift for you, a symbolic representation for you that will help you on your journey to clarity. Allow yourself to find your way back down the mountain trail easily, effortlessly, and know that you could come back and do this again, perhaps before you go to sleep tonight, perhaps before you go to sleep tomorrow night, and continue to do this as it is a deep blessing for yourself and for others. Allow yourself to find your way back down that mountain path, noticing the birds and the trees and the beauty of the day, and bring yourself back into your awareness of the here and now, back into your physical form, back into your body, noticing where you are. Might want to wiggle fingers, wiggle toes. And thank you for your gift of being of service to our world. Thank you. Mr. Phill is back. I must be running late on time. We'll do communion and go from there. Oh, I am late. That's okay. Lost track. We shift gears here. Pardon me. Well, I made it through all that without coughing. So communion is a symbolic representation of taking it on and taking on that ascension path. Jesus already walked the path, and he's walked it perfectly, effortlessly, without failing. He did everything for edification, for joy, and for love. So
that's why he's the leader of my pack.
He's the leader of our pack. Yes, he is. And Jesus is just all right with me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So would you join us in prayer, please? Loving Spirit of Light, as we take this in, help us to take in life, all of it. Help us to take it in with grace and edification. Help us to be a blessing to ourselves and others. These things we pray in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. That's not terrible.
It's not the same thing. Yeah. So, grape juice.
It really is grape juice.
Join us in prayer.
But yours doesn't have to be.
Whatever. Loving Spirit of light, as we drink this in, refresh our souls, clear us, help us to walk the path of edification. Grant us peace. These things we pray in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
I think Beth made a notation of pardon me of donations.
It really was grape juice.
It really was grape juice. So if anyone has a question about what they received in their guided meditation, text it into Mr. Phill really quick.
I saw Marlena had got a white dove.
A white dove. So it's all about love. It's all about love. You can let love replace all the anger and frustration. And you can bestow love. Good for you. White dove is all about love. So this is a sacred symbol of love and divine connection. So notice that divine connection and share that as you can. I know you do. Is there anybody else?
I haven't seen anything else come in yet. I can't see all of Cheryl's, so I don't know if there's a question there or not.
Okay.
So.
I can't read it, so I'll have to get back to you and type a response. So if that's all there is, thank you so much for tuning in. Happy Sunday. We'll see you Wednesday Wisdoms at 6:30.
Do our energy circle.
If you're by yourself.
Myrna got a rose quartz.
Oh, wonderful. It's all about love. It's about love.
See? Yeah, that's what it says.
Yeah, stop. They can't see it, honey.
Yeah?
No.
It's really, I can see it.
Not your finger, their comment. Left hand up. Right hand down. When we're in a circle,
do it every week.
When we're in a circle, it's so much easier because the person to your left, their hand is going to be the right direction. Hopefully. All right. If you're by yourself, just do energy back and forth between your hands. But you are still connected to that living light of love. Bring it into your heart space and send it out your left hand. And from your left hand, then you're gifting the person next to you, or you're sending it to yourself, this amplified version of love. You're increasing it and amplifying it with your intent. And then receive it from your right hand. Let your right hand receive that, bring it back into your heart space, back out your left hand. And that circle amplifies the energy. And while we're amplifying the energy now, we can hold someone in our heart, in our thoughts, in our minds, and they'll share in this energy. So let's hold the people who are suffering from the fires in our hearts and our minds, and they'll share in this energy. This will buoy them a bit. Isn't that a beautiful gift? Maybe there's somebody else that you can think of that can use encouragement or kindness, compassion. Just be gentle with them for just a moment. Now deep breath in and exhale to release them. We don't want any psychic backwash. So bringing fresh, bright energy in again, sending it left, receiving from the right, and allowing that energy to amplify. Feeling it build again. Both hands up. Bringing that energy now into your heart space. Doesn't it feel wonderful? May your life be a prayer. God bless. And we will see you next time. Have a delightful Sunday.